I feel like my past relationships have been cursed. Those were the haunting words of Selena Gomez. A woman adored worldwide, yet behind the fame, struggling with heartbreak after heartbreak. But here's the real question. Were her relationships truly doomed? Or is there a deeper truth that Stoic wisdom can reveal? This isn't about Hollywood gossip. It's not about who she dated or what went wrong in the tabloids. It's about something bigger. The way love can break us. The way heartbreak can make us feel cursed. And the way philosophy, 2,000 years old, can show us how to heal. Because here's the truth. What happened to Selena isn't just her story. It's ours too. We've all felt the sting of broken trust. The ache of losing someone who once felt like everything. And the emptiness of wondering, am I the problem, or am I just cursed? But the Stoics remind us our peace is never fully in someone else's hands. And what looks like a curse may actually be the start of our transformation. So, in this video, we're going to look at Selena's so-called cursed past through a Stoic lens. Not to judge, but to understand. Why her love life hurt so deeply, how she began to heal, and what timeless lessons we can all carry into our own lives. Because no heartbreak is final if we learn how to rise above it. Selena once opened up in an interview and said, "I feel like my past relationships have been cursed." Think about those words for a second. Cursed. That's not just frustration. That's the voice of someone who's been through deep pain, who feels like no matter how much love she gave, the ending was always heartbreak. We all saw it play out publicly, high-profile relationships that burned bright and ended in chaos. Breakups that splashed across headlines, songs filled with pain and longing, and a young woman standing in the spotlight, carrying the weight of it all. But here's the thing. Selena's confession wasn't just about celebrity heartbreak. It was about something almost universal. Because how many of us have felt the same? Like no matter who we love, something always goes wrong. Like we're repeating the same cycle, stuck in the same story. Like maybe we're cursed too. Selena gave voice to a fear so many people carry quietly. The fear that maybe love just isn't meant for us. And that fear is exactly where the Stoics step in with wisdom. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from events, but from our judgment about them." Think about that in the context of love. It's not just the breakup itself that destroys us. It's the meaning we attach to it. The story we tell ourselves afterward. For Selena, every heartbreak didn't just end a relationship, it deepened the belief that her love life was cursed. That interpretation added another layer of suffering on top of the pain she was already carrying. And haven't we all done the same? We go through rejection, betrayal, or abandonment. And instead of seeing it as one chapter ending, we tell ourselves a darker story. This always happens to me. I'll never find love. Maybe I'm not enough. The Stoics remind us, pain is universal. We can't avoid it. But our response, the lens through which we see that pain, that's what determines whether it destroys us or becomes the very thing that helps us grow. When people think of Selena Gomez's love life, one name instantly comes to mind, Justin Bieber. It was the relationship that defined an era. Young love, on and off headlines, songs written back and forth. It felt larger than life. But behind the glamour, was a cycle. Passionate highs followed by crushing lows, breakups, reconciliations, heartbreak all over again. And each time, the wounds cut deeper. From a Stoic perspective, this wasn't just romance. It was the clash between desire and detachment. See, the Stoics believed desire without control leads straight to suffering. When our happiness depends entirely on another person, their attention, their affection, their presence, we hand them the keys to our peace. And that's what played out here. Selena and Justin were caught in an emotional storm, a bond filled with intensity but lacking stability. Love became attachment. Attachment became obsession. And obsession always leads to pain. The lesson here isn't about blame. It's about awareness. When love consumes us instead of grounding us, it becomes less about connection and more about control. And the Stoics would say, true freedom in love comes when you care deeply. But don't let your entire self-worth rise and fall with someone else's choices. Because desire without control, that's not love. That's suffering dressed as love. After the whirlwind of Justin Bieber, Selena's love life continued to capture headlines. From The Weekend to rumored flings, each connection seemed to carry the same story: hope, intensity, and then turbulence. It's like watching a pattern repeat itself, searching for stability, longing for connection, yet encountering heartbreak again and again. And here's where the Stoic lens makes things clearer. External love, another person's affection, attention, or approval can never be the foundation of your inner peace. When we rely on someone else to fill our emotional cup, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Selena's relationships weren't cursed by fate. They reflected a universal truth. If we seek our happiness outside ourselves, we will always feel at the mercy of others' choices. Stoicism teaches us to build resilience from within, to nurture a stable inner life, so that love becomes a gift, not a lifeline. And when we spot these patterns, we can learn to respond differently, to grow wiser, to heal more fully. Selena once described her love life as cursed. But what if that curse isn't real? What if it's just the story we tell ourselves when pain feels too heavy? The Stoics had a different perspective. They rejected the idea of fate punishing us. Instead, they embraced amor fati, the love of fate. It's a radical idea, to love everything that happens to you, even heartbreak, even loss, even those relationships that seemed doomed. Because what looks like a curse might actually be growth, disguised as pain. Every tear, every disappointment, every moment of feeling lost can be a teacher, not a punishment. Selena's heartbreaks weren't the universe turning against her. They were invitations to learn, to build resilience, to understand herself more deeply. Amor fati asks us to see life through this lens. Not why me, but what is this teaching me? And when we start to see our experiences as lessons, the idea of being cursed loses all its power. The pain becomes purposeful. The story becomes ours to own. After years of heartbreak, Selena began to turn inward. She sought therapy, opened up about her struggles, and slowly started rebuilding her sense of self-worth. But it wasn't just therapy. Music became her sanctuary. Every lyric, every melody, a way to release pain, to process emotion, to reflect. Her songs weren't just entertainment. They were her modern form of Stoic journaling, a place to pour out her feelings, examine them, and learn from them. Stoicism teaches us that reflection is power. To pause, to observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them, to write, to think, to face your inner storms, and come out stronger. Selena's journey mirrors this perfectly. Through her music and vulnerability, she reclaimed control over her narrative. She realized that true healing comes not from others, but from understanding and valuing herself. And here's the powerful lesson. Pain is inevitable, heartbreak is unavoidable, but suffering becomes optional. By reflecting, journaling, and facing her emotions, Selena transformed past hurt into inner strength. Her heartbreaks didn't define her. They became the tools for resilience, self-discovery, and personal growth. Selena's story isn't just about heartbreak, it's about how she reclaimed her life. And here's where Stoicism offers powerful guidance we can all use. First, detachment. Not coldness, not shutting down, but learning not to cling to what's outside your control. You can't force someone to love you or control the twists of fate, but you can control your response. Selena learned to release the need to fix the past, and in that space, freedom emerged. Second, perspective. Heartbreak can feel like the end of the world, but Stoics remind us, your worth is not tied to another's love. Selena's journey shows that even the most public pain doesn't define who you are. It's just a chapter, not the whole story. And finally, self-mastery. Shift focus inward. Build your resilience. Explore your passions. Reconnect with yourself. Through therapy, music, and reflection, Selena practiced exactly this. Her strength didn't come from others. It came from mastering her own mind, her own emotions, her own growth. So, take this lesson. Heartbreak is inevitable. Suffering is optional. With detachment, perspective, and self-mastery, pain can transform into clarity, empowerment, and inner freedom. Selena Gomez's story isn't just about heartbreak. It's about transformation. She could have stayed trapped in pain, replaying her past over and over. But instead, she turned that pain into strength. Stoics teach us that suffering isn't meaningless. It's a force that can polish the soul, sharpen resilience, and illuminate what truly matters. Every heartbreak, every public heartbreak, became a lesson in self-worth, reflection, and inner growth. And here's the most powerful part. If Selena could face the storms of love, rebuild herself, and emerge stronger, so can you. Your setbacks don't define you. Your past doesn't imprison you. With perspective, detachment, and self-mastery, you can reclaim your peace and even thrive. So, take a breath. Let her journey remind you. Healing is possible, growth is possible, and freedom is always within reach. So, let's take a moment to reflect. Selena's so-called cursed love life. It wasn't a curse at all. It was a series of lessons, pain disguised as growth. Through heartbreak, she discovered self-worth, resilience, and the power of turning suffering into strength. Stoics remind us that no heartbreak is a curse. It's a classroom. Every tear, every setback, every ending is a chance to learn, to grow, and to reclaim control over our own minds. And here's the takeaway for you. Your peace is always in your control. No past relationship, no external disappointment can steal it unless you let it. If Selena's journey inspired you, share this video with someone who's healing, Someone who needs this reminder that they are stronger than their pain. And don't forget, subscribe to join this community of growth, reflection, and inner strength. Because together, we can turn every heartbreak into a stepping stone toward wisdom, freedom, and unshakable peace. Remember, you're the guardian of your own heart. Protect it, nurture it, and let it guide you to growth.